Hello and welcome to The Extra Mile. I'm Linda Boudreau. Our guest today is Susan Lee. Susan is an RN with a very interesting story. Today we're going to be talking primarily about complementary medicine and things that we can do to keep ourselves healthy and to take charge of our health, right, Susan?
Absolutely right. We want to make sure in this economy where so many people are losing their insurance or the cost of insurance is going up so fast, and especially with the swine flu coming around again, we want to do things to keep ourselves as healthy as possible. It's easier to stay well than it is to get well.
Yeah, it's easier if it ain't broke, right?
That's right.
Now, just by way of your introduction, because you have some, I think, some special qualifications that enable you to talk about complementary medicine or complementary healthcare. How did you get involved in all this? What is your story?
Well, I was a Western trained registered nurse, and I decided that my own health wasn't doing very well, and the Western medicine that I was using wasn't helping me get better. I had a bad hip, I had diabetes, I had all kinds of ailments and allergies, and I thought this isn't working. You know, there should be a lot of things that I should be able to do as a Western trained person to feel better, and I just wasn't feeling better. And so I moved to Florida thinking that was going to be even better, and it turned out that really made the allergies and things worse. I thought, oh boy, more doctors for old people, you know, I'm likely to find somebody to help with that bad hip, and it wasn't helping. And I had the opportunity to have visited China a number of occasions, and I was offered a position in China, and I decided, why not? So I went to China in the hopes of actually teaching barefoot doctor in southern China, which I did for quite a while. And then I was offered a position in Beijing that allowed me not only to work in television with the Ministry of Public Health on the international news. That gave me access to all kinds of Western and the Chinese view of Western medicine, which is slowly changing. They're becoming more Westernized, and as they
in China,
and as they were, the Chinese doctors wanted to make sure that Chinese medicine didn't get lost to the rest of the world along the way. So I went to some medical schools in China, and I became certified in a lot of different types of Chinese medicine. Preventive, that the grandmas teach to their children growing up, that keeps you well most of the time. And then what the Chinese physicians do themselves when you haven't done what grandma told you to do and you find yourself sick.
So if you do what grandma told you to do, you won't get sick in the first place.
Chances are very good you won't. Okay,
what did grandma tell us to do?
Well, grandma told us a number of things. First of all, they said you should protect your energetic body every day.
Now, when you say energetic body, what are we talking about?
Well, everybody has energy that runs through their body. You can see it on PET scans and EKGs and EEGs. The body has electricity running through it. And the Chinese believe it flows along pathways called meridians. And I think almost everybody at this point has heard of acupuncture. Mm-hmm. And those acupuncture points are points on your body that you can actually touch where the energy flow comes close to the skin's surface. And if you touch a number of these points on a regular basis, you can help keep your energy flow clear. Sort of like using Drano on your pipes every now and then.
Okay.
You can flush your own energy system every day and keep nice and clear so you don't take on other people's problems.
So if we don't clog our energy, if our energy keeps flowing, doesn't get clogged,
right,
we can stay healthier?
Mm-hmm. It's the same way as if you don't get a blood clot, you're not going to end up with a problem in your lungs or your brain with a stroke or phlebitis, that kind of thing. So the Chinese thought that there was a lot more to the body than what we could actually see, and Western medicine is proving this to be absolutely true.
So as the Chinese become more Westernized, do we find that in some ways we may be becoming more Easternized?
Absolutely true. For some reason, we've always had indigenous medicines in this country, and almost every country in the world has native hand-down traditions. My grandmother used to do sulfur and molasses, whether you need it or not, twice a year. Turns out that that's actually good for you. The cod liver oil God help my mother, who used to make me drink that stuff and they added mint to it, which didn't help. Turns out that's an essential fish oil that we need. That's something that's now proven to be very, very helpful. Things that we long ago thought, yeah, it wasn't really important, turn out that it is important. And those same principles are held in almost every culture in the world. And we're starting in America to tap into that rather than keep going to the doctor for a pill in the hopes that it will treat the symptom, and it never really treats the disease, the dis-ease, the something that's wrong with you.
So symptom control is not the same as a cure.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
And the Chinese are more interested in prevention and a cure rather than just controlling the symptoms. But I did discover that while I was studying all this Chinese medicine, that I was still getting sick. And I found out that was kind of an odd coincidence. How could that possibly be? Until I realized, well, I wasn't practicing what I was being taught.
Oh, so you got to do it.
Yeah, you actually have to do it. It's sort of like watering the garden. You really, you want tomatoes, you want flowers. It's kind of necessary to do the work.
Yeah, you got to do the work.
You got to do the work. You can't just you just can't just talk the talk. You have to walk the walk. And as soon as I started doing the very simple things that Chinese grandmothers were teaching their grandchildren how to do, which was how to calm and center themselves when they would get stressed, how to drink hot water every day.
Is lukewarm water good enough?
Lukewarm water is much better than cold. Think about what cold water does when you're washing a greasy frying pan. It lumps up and it gets gunky.
It all gets congealed.
Well, that's exactly what's happening in all the foods that we eat are made of fats and oils. We have all of that inside our own bodies, and when we add ice cold anything to it, we sometimes get an ice cream headache. But we also tend to slow down and clog our digestive system, which isn't doing any of us any good at all. It's contributing to weight gain, obesity, and obesity is contributing to diabetes and a lot of other problems. So by drinking the hot water, or at least lukewarm water, and nothing colder than room temperature, we're continuing to flush our systems. And it helps if we have a glass of water with our meals. It helps digest.
And they'd always said, don't drink water with your meals. I've heard that. I don't know why people said that. I've heard that for a long time.
Well, maybe when food was scarce, they wanted you to get as many nutrients as possible and retain as much as possible. That oatmeal that sticks to your ribs.
Right.
They wanted you to do that. But now it's better, they've discovered, if you keep your system as clean as possible. That cuts down on the risks of stomach cancer, irritable bowel syndrome, colon cancer, and the like. So it's better to keep your system as clear as possible. And that's not with colonics, not from the outside in. You don't go from that end. Drink it.
Just drink warm, hot water.
Warm, hot water as much as you possibly can.
And really, when we first talked about that, I thought, oh, that's just awful. But I tried it, and really, it's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with hot water.
You're getting used to it.
Yeah, plain hot water. It's not bad.
And if you can't do that, drink tea, and drink weak tea. The Chinese don't drink the black tea that we drink. They drink either green tea, which some people like or don't like. But if you're worried about caffeine, they make flower teas that have no caffeine in them at all. Jasmine.